In 1971, something happened that most people were never taught in school. There was no war, no revolution, no riots in the streets, but the rules of money changed forever. If you've ever felt like your salary works harder than you do, like prices rise while life stands still, this is where that story begins. After World War II, the world built a stable money system. Not perfect, but anchored. The US dollar sat at the center of global trade, and foreign governments could exchange dollars for gold at a fixed price, $35 per ounce. That promise mattered. It told the world this paper was not just paper. It was tied to something real. For a while, it worked. Trade expanded. Factories grew. Middle classes rose. People believed work could still lead to stability. But every system breaks the moment promises exceed limits. In the 1960s, America's costs exploded. The Cold War, the Vietnam War, large domestic programs. At the same time, dollars flooded the world. Foreign central banks held more and more of them. Here was the hidden problem. The US promised gold for dollars, but gold was finite. Dollars were not. Some countries noticed. They began exchanging dollars for gold. Gold reserves fell. Confidence cracked. Money was starting to behave like a rumor. It worked, as long as everyone believed it would. Then came the 15th of August 1971, a Sunday night. President Richard Nixon addressed the nation. He announced emergency economic measures, wage controls, price controls, and one quiet decision that changed everything. The United States would temporarily suspend the convertibility of the dollar into gold. Temporarily. That word never expired. The gold window closed. Foreign governments could no longer demand gold for dollars. Money was no longer a claim on metal. It became a claim on trust. Many assumed the world rejected this. It didn't. The system was already too big to unwind. The cost of reversing it felt higher than accepting it. Exchange rates began to float. Currencies moved with markets. By the mid-1970s, the world entered the era of fiat money. Money backed by policy, politics, perception. The old system had limits. Limits forced discipline. Limits made promises expensive to break. Those limits were gone. Money became easier to create. Debt became easier to normalize. Inflation surged in the 1970s. Prices rose. Confidence weakened. When money loses stability, people lose trust in time itself. But the deeper effects arrived slowly. Asset prices began rising faster than wages. Housing, stocks, land. Society split quietly. Those who owned assets and those who lived on income. For wage earners, inflation feels like theft. For asset holders, it can feel like momentum. Debt stopped being an emergency tool. It became normal. Saving felt weaker. Borrowing felt easier. People didn't change. The system did. 1971 didn't cause every problem, but it changed the rules beneath them. Before, money had a leash. After, money had a steering wheel. Crises could be delayed. Pain could be postponed. Consequences could be softened. Now ask the final question. If money isn't tied to gold, what is it tied to? Confidence, institutions, belief. Money didn't become fake. It became political. It became adjustable, manageable, expandable. The world didn't collapse that night. That's why it mattered. It kept working, just differently. And once you see that difference, you can't unsee it. 1971 wasn't the year money died. It was the year money stopped being real in the old sense and became whatever the system could convince you it was. 1971. The year money lost its meaning.